Hello. Hi, babies. How we doing? All right. Good evening, guys, and welcome back. As you can see, we've got a really full truck here. We just got back from basically getting all of our feed that we hopefully need for the month. We've been trying to do this for a while now, where we buy all of our feed at the beginning of the month and hopefully don't have to make another trip. But if we do, it's okay. They're not that far away from our house. But we wanted to make sure that we got everything we wanted to get today, because we're trying to be a little bit more on top of it and a little bit more together as far as things go. So I need to transfer this feed over to the shed area, and then I want to show you guys today some really cool thoughts that we've been having about what we're going to do for the winter, because hopefully this winter is going to look a little bit different as far as animals go than last winter. So let's go ahead and get into that. Alright, so I thought I would take this time to kind of talk to some of the new people. We have a bunch of new people here who may not have seen some of our older videos. If you are new here, welcome. It's great to have you. I thought I'd show you how we keep our feed, because it's kind of stayed the same, but it's a little different in as far as placement goes now. So we're keeping our chicken feed and our pig feed in these, they're about a 60 to 65 gallon tub. So basically what I can do is I can put about 5 or 6 50-pound bags in each of these, and that usually does about a month's worth. Depending on how much forage they have, it may make a little less than a month, but for the most part we're hitting about a month as far as these totes go and what we feed the animals that we have. We also have been trying to soak our feed for 24 to 48 hours to kind of ferment it. It soaks up that rest of the water, and then it lasts a little bit longer that way as well. So we've been trying to implement that process as well. But the main goal is just filling these guys up, getting these guys full, and then using them the way that they're supposed to be used and not overfeeding. The third bucket that we have is this silver trash can. And this used to hold our pig feed, and then our goat feed used to be in the far one way in the back. But what we're going to end up doing is putting all our alfalfa pellets in here, since winter is coming. It's supplementation time. We're going to need more alfalfa pellets, and we're going to end up soaking those as well to try and help those last longer. But we're going to actually put them in this trash can here and put this out in the barn, and hopefully that can stay out there. We use the alfalfa pellets anyways for milking, but I think milking is getting ready to be done. I'll talk to you guys more about that. Let's get this to the barn. Alright, so got everything in here. I had to sit down for a minute. We've been fighting some kind of like sinus infection or something going on up here. So it's been kind of hard to do extra heavy lifting, extracurricular activities. So lifting all those bags, both in there and now in here, I need a break. It was just worn me out, flat worn me out. So, and I think it was in the last video, or it was the video that we talked about planting the planter box. I talked about a list and going through and figuring out things that we needed to get done and chopping those down and getting them done. So this is the list. This is the rest of the list. We've already checked some of this off. But the next thing that's on the list, now that we've gotten at least everything planted in the planter box, is going to be this barn that we started, what, midsummer, early summer, late June, I don't know. But we started putting all these walls on and painting them, and then we also started to run out of time, and we started to run out of usable pallets, and it just wasn't working out. It was getting way too hot to actually spend time out here. So I took a break, I called it off, and now we're ready to get started on it again and get things rolling. I need to finish this wall over here, which I'm about to show you, and then what I want to do is basically get this center stall completed, because I have a surprise for you. We're having what looks to be piglets, and so instead of having her outside this time, because if we are correct about the date, it's going to be around Christmas time, we're going to want that to be inside and hopefully be able to have some kind of heat lamp source or something out here with her just in case, but at least be able to have some kind of bedding. And I have another idea that I'm actually looking forward to trying if we can get this done, since I've been reading that book, Polyphase Micro. This is what I'm talking about. I've gotten this wall started. Obviously I need to screw in the top there, and then what I need to do is I need to cut these down so they're not exactly like right flush up against here. So I just need to come in, mark them, cut all these down, and then this side will basically be done. This side is where my problem is starting. As you can see, it is falling down, so I need to come in here and take all these off, and I think I'm going to actually end up replacing them with boards here. I have some that I've already cut in here, so I've been working on this little by little, but this was not the main focus, and this was not the main project. So this is what we were talking about with the middle stall. So what I want to do is come in here, replace this wall back here, or at least make it better, and then we're going to try to close up that back area. There is a small draft that comes in over top, and so if we are having piglets, you don't really want drafts, and I think this will be enough space for her. We're not dealing with massive pigs here, and so this should be plenty of space. Just like, you know, if we wanted to put a pig over here in this stall or whatever, this would be a good size for one or two of our small pigs, just because like this isn't a massive pig. We're not talking about a 700-pound pig. So my goal, put a board up here, put a board up down there to keep her from rolling over on the pigs. And then we're going to use a deep bedding system in here to house her over the winter with her piglets. If we need to bring in some external heat source, we can, but I don't know if we're going to have to or not. It just depends. We've never done a deep bedding system like this, so I know it'll get kind of warm, but it's at least different than last year. Last year we sacrificed a big plot over by the apple trees, and we're not going to do that this year. We're actually going to have her in here. The other reason why I need to start working on this barn is we would like to possibly put 2 pigs in here and maybe a goat or 2 in here over the winter, and try to cut down a little bit on our, you know, pasture that's out here that gets demolished. Last year we had them out under the trees over here, and we had, I think, the goats together and the 2 grow out pigs together, and we just like destroyed that whole area. There was no grass left whatsoever. We sacrificed, you know, a couple of small areas to keep them there over the long period of time. But my plan is, if we can do them on deep bedding in here, then not only could we actually gain something from it like compost, then we could possibly not have to sacrifice so much of our pasture this year in order to kind of supplement whatever they're taking in that's not actually growing. Are you done? He doesn't want to play with you? He doesn't want to play with you? No? He doesn't want to play? Hi, PD Mama. Oh gosh. Hi, Mom. Oh gosh. Hi, Mama. How are we doing? Hopefully that plan works, but it's getting kind of cold. It's getting a little dark. It's about time to call it inside time. But I have a surprise for you. I have things to do inside. I want to show you something that we're working on to put in our little herb space right here. It'll be cool to kind of have them. They're a little bit of high maintenance trees in the sense that they're gonna have to come in during the winter, because we do get cold enough that they could possibly hurt the trees. But hey, you know what? Sometimes you win, and sometimes you just have cool stuff on your farm. Duh. Guys, before we go inside, I want to show you this bed. that we planted. I'll show you where we're at. So we've got little sprouts coming up of the different kales. We've got sprouts coming up of the Swiss chard. Everything else is turning good. We got purple broccoli, a couple of them in here. I need to go ahead and probably thin them out. These are green arrow peas, so we've got them going all the way down. They're not doing as well or growing as fast as the spring blush peas on the other side, but they're still coming in and they're looking pretty good. On this side, the spring blush peas are looking fantastic. Could not ask for better. These have always been good for us. We have some beets here beside the peas. These are looking really good as well, coming up nice and thick. This is what I'm really excited about. All this right here are carrots. There's a ton of these in here. We have some curly kale coming in here, and it's looking good. It's starting to get its second leaf on some of them. And then our lettuce is doing well. We've already harvested some of it, so we'll probably get ready to harvest another little bit here for some salad greens, but they're doing good. Everything's doing really well in here, and I'm hoping with everything coming up so well, I would really like to probably make another box. All right, let's go inside and I'll show you my surprise. It is obviously not the same day. I have a different shirt on, a different hat on, but I didn't get to what I wanted to get to the other night, so I'm actually coming to you from a couple days later. I've got my tea, and I wanted to talk to you about something that I've been working on that has brought me just an immense amount of joy, and I don't know why. I've come to really enjoy the plant side of the homestead and planting things and watching them grow and cultivating them, and then ultimately either eating them or canning them or using them in some sort of way. But this particular thing that we have started, it is definitely a long-term plant, but it is probably the one plant that has probably brought me the most joy. This is a seed from a lemon, and I'm sure you can buy these online, and I'm sure you can get them in a packet, but these seeds, and I have 3 of them, these are seeds that we got out of a lemon from a regular old lemon from Walmart. It's been a long 4 or 5 months, but they're really cool, and they've done really well. So here's one, and this guy is just one of 5. So I think I originally planted 7 seeds, and I got 5 out of them. And 3 of them are taller than the other 2, but they're coming in really good. They look really green. They're really, really nice. This is probably my shortest one. And it's just been fun. It's been fun to watch these guys grow, and all I have to do is just, water them. I've kept them in the grow room. I did put, I think, the 3 tallest ones outside, so they've had more sun exposure, which is really interesting. Setting these guys outside, they're definitely larger. Here, this is a good one. Setting these guys outside, they're definitely larger in comparison to this guy who's literally just stayed inside the whole time. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I'm showing you these seeds. That's because I want to show you these really cool pots. So we got these pots from my grandmother and grandfather's house. We've been going through stuff, and so I got these big, massive pots. I have 2 of them. And so the plan is, we're going to plant the lemon trees in here. And I'm probably going to actually put my best growing ones in here. We're going to plant them in here, and we're going to basically put these in the herb garden that I had showed earlier today by the barn. They're just going to be a fun little thing that we have out there with the herb garden. It would be fun to have these out there, and having them in pots. These pots should grow allow them to grow big enough. If they don't, we can always pot them up one more time, but should allow them to grow big enough to have some fruit at some time. We'll see how this goes, but obviously this isn't going to be an overnight thing, so you guys got to stick with us to find out if we get some fruit from our lemon trees. Obviously, lemons in our area will not grow through the winter. They do not hold up to frost, is what I'm finding out. So we'll have to bring them inside during the winter, which is also why they're inside now. We'll take them outside in the spring and the summer and early fall and bring them in during the winter, and they should be good to go. And hopefully we'll get lemons off this one year. But until then, we'll just enjoy the joy of watching them grow and flourish. Now, you might be wondering why I've decided to go ahead and pot these up and plant these in the first place. And there's a couple of reasons, but the two main ones are, if you know me in person, you know that I'm not one to normally take advice that goes along the lines of, you can't do that because blah, blah, blah. So we usually hear a lot of the times that you can't grow things from food at the grocery store because it just won't grow, or it's not, the seeds won't sprout, or whatever the case is. And so I wanted to kind of prove a point here that you could do this with seeds that you got from the store, or I mean from fruit you got from the store, or from vegetables that you got from the store. If you really want to try something, even if somebody says you can't do it, trust me, just try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's not going to grow. You're going to waste a week or two of your time doing something that you're probably already doing. So just do it. And it might be a good way to kind of kickstart you guys' garden next year. If you're just starting to get into this and you're like, oh, I don't know what seeds to buy. I just know what I buy at the grocery store. If you buy a tomato at the grocery store, plant the seeds, see what happens. If you buy a lemon from the grocery store, plant the seeds, see what happens. If you buy an orange from the grocery store, plant the seeds and see what happens. There are some nuances here. Obviously, you can't just plant any seed into the ground and then it just grows that way. Do a little research, obviously, and figure out the best way to propagate that seed. But, you know, for the most part, just give it a try. The second reason is totally for myself. But I needed an escape, and I needed something to focus on from everything that has just happened this summer and been going on and working like crazy. I wanted something to kind of like come home, find enjoyment in if it did work, and, you know, something to say, look, I did this, and even though it may have said that I couldn't do it, I did it, and it's working out really well. And really, the third thing is just like kind of giving hope that you can do something like this and you can share this with somebody. I mean, I have 3 more back here. That I'm willing to possibly put in other pots and probably going to give to someone else who's looking for a seed. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend the other night when I originally did this video, and he made mention that he would really like to have a lemon tree. He would love to plant one in the ground, but he's not in an area where he can actually plant it in the ground. So I'm kind of thinking that I grow one of these out. The next time I see him, I'll take it to him and I'll just drive out there and he can have one of these. Because that would be fun, right? Why not give away free plants that weren't even supposed to work or weren't even supposed to grow? You know what I mean? God forbid they don't make fruit. Who cares about that? That's just a plus if they happen to grow fruit, right? But this has been a crazy fun experiment, and they seem to be working well. Not only do I get to have fun with this, but I get to share it with somebody else for them to have fun with it after I'm done with it, and they can take that and do whatever they want to do with it after that, whether that is enjoy that or share that with somebody else. You never know what that's going to look like later on down the road. So just do it. Just plant it. Just do that seed. Just take that plant and plant it. Well, guys, I think that's all I have. I'm gonna go finish my tea. I've got these 2 planted. I'm gonna get the other 3 planted in the morning. Make sure you keep tuning in so you can kind of see where they're coming along. I'll give little minor updates from here and there and how they're growing, and hopefully one day we'll have some lemons off of them. Thank you guys for joining us today. Until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.